Without further ado, let's get started. Silver in 3, 2, 1. Let's roll. So the very first thing you are going to notice as we jump into Crisis City here is that it's at nighttime. Chaos X, who is part of the Lost Legacy team, created the nighttime Crisis City skybox. So it's a lot more in line with the opening, the intro to Silver's story now, which is super dope. Talking about Silver's gameplay here, as you can see, his hover has been buffed. The rate in which his meter, the action gauge, the thing in the bottom right there, regenerates has been buffed. And we have the PO6 running animation in addition to increased speed, which is super dope. If you didn't see the Sonic episode of Legacy of Solaris, a lot of this stuff will be new to you. If not, I talked about it a little bit when we swapped to Silver in Kingdom Valley. But yeah, so a lot of cool stuff here. Silver's hovering has been increased in speed, which is really nice because, you know, he was such a slow character in the original game that it's a lot nicer to be able to play as him quite quickly here now. Let's see, what else to talk about with Silver? The Pimp Slap, the Psycho Smash, has been increased in range significantly. Like, you can hit enemies from super far away. Let me see how far I can, like, hit this guy. So I can hit him there. See how far away I can hit this bird. Yeah, I can hit him from, like, all the way back here, which is super nice because that was one of the biggest things, is that Silver, while he does get upgrades, the tools that he starts with make it very cumbersome to deal with enemies in the beginning. So I'm very, very happy that the Psycho Smash range was increased that much, because that's the only way Silver can really deal with enemies other than picking up other objects and throwing them, which is pretty nice. Adds to a lot of the gameplay flow. Now, again, because this is Retail 06, we do have, you know, some jank in that if we feather the A button, we're able to get a lot more distance out of our hover than normal. And in addition to that, because the hover is sped up, we can get even more distance than before, which is kind of fun. So we're going to be seeing a lot of that as we go through Silver's story here, just to get extra distance and go across those really wide gaps. But for right now, we're going to switch over to Blaze. Blaze functions quite similarly to how she does in regular Retail 06. She has her double jump. She has her Fire Claw, which is her homing attack that you press with the X button. And if you hold the X button and release it, you can do the Spinning Claw, which is really good for taking care of enemies and stuff. And there actually is a bug associated with the Spinning Claw. I believe it's called AFC. They called it Advanced Fire Claw, but I'm pretty sure the move's called the Spinning Claw. Regardless, it's a thing where you can, like, jump on the same frame you activate a Spinning Claw, and it'll, like, do some weird stuff. It makes it last longer. You can, like, skip on water and do all sorts of crazy stuff. It's pretty hard to do, so I probably won't see it, but I did want to mention it because it is kind of one of those fun Retail 06 speedrunning tricks that you can do in Legacy of Solaris here. But Blaze, pretty fun to play as, so we'll be seeing a lot more of her here. As we hop into Section 3 here of Crisis City, one thing that I want to mention is that behind the scenes, every section, so every time we see a loading screen, is labeled something different in the code. So, for example, Sonic's Wave Ocean, Section 1 is labeled Wave Ocean Section A for Sonic. And then Mach Speed, the Mach Speed section is labeled Wave Ocean Section B. With Crisis City here, Silver's Crisis City is the only stage where you go back to the same section that you started in. Well, actually, where you repeat going to the same section at all. The beginning was Crisis City Section F1, where we started with Silver. And then this here is F2, which is the back half of Section F, which is exclusive to Silver and Shadow. Which is pretty cool. Pretty cool little factoid there, some behind-the-scenes stuff. Anyway, what you saw right there with the mission complete, it was looking a little bit pixelated. The build of Xenia I'm using and the one I recommended in the install video for Legacy of Solaris has an issue where sometimes you can get artifacts on screen, and that's just because, you know, emulation, sometimes things are weird. If you want to get rid of that stuff without having to reset the emulator, you can just press F4 on your keyboard, and that'll refresh all of the assets. I believe there are some later builds of Xenia, and in fact, one of the people on the Lost Legacy team, Hyper, talked about it with me, a way to bypass it, but I'm just gonna use this one. Anyway, here we go into Silver's boss fights. Iblis Phase 1. These boss fights with Silver are probably some of my least favorite bits of gameplay in the entire game. Even Legacy of Solaris doesn't improve on it that much. It's really slow. Iblis takes forever to do attacks. Silver's psychokinesis sometimes just doesn't work because you do have to hit him in the face. Hitting on any other part of his body will do nothing. And you also, while he's recoiling there, you can't actually damage him at all. See, like that one right there, it hit him in the side, but it doesn't count. Which is just, ugh. These boss fights are not very fun. Which is kind of sad because I feel like with the type of character that Silver is, having psychokinesis and everything, it would have the opportunity for some really fun boss fights, but unfortunately, the idea just wasn't capitalized on here with Iblis Phase 1. Iblis Phase 1. This dude takes a lot of rocks to the face. I'm not sure how many. I think it's over like 15 though. Something around there. And that can happen where you can grab these Cocoa Puffs here. But the other Cocoa Puffs can destroy the ones you're holding, and then you're out of ammo. So you gotta wait for him to get up and slowly crash this building down on you. I might actually get hit here. Maybe we avoided it? Nah, we still got hit. That's too bad. Thankfully, it didn't destroy my puff there. Let's see, is there's any more debris? I think he blocked that shot. I don't know. These boss fights, it's so aggravating. Just like your shot's not connecting, or just other stuff happening. Back, I think. Welcome back, Dusk. How you doing? Welcome back, Cookie, as well. The Legacy of Solaris. We are on Silver's story now, as I'm whining about the Iblis 1 boss fight. I consider it justifiably so, but I don't know. Maybe some people find this fun. It is fun to chuck stuff at his face, but the amount of stuff you have to chuck at his face in addition to it not working half the time is rather annoying. Let's see. I might be able to hit him here. There's sort of an auto aim, but it's not perfect. Let's see. I think we've just got one more hit before he gets taken down. Should have been some debris right there. And, oh, come on. I threw both at the same time. Dude, that hit his face. Come on. Is there another piece of debris? And this is the worst part here, is that if you run out of stuff to throw at him, you gotta wait through all of these really slow attacks until he does an attack that actually gives you some ammo. And hopefully, you know, won't destroy the ammo you pick up in the process, which that all just did. It should be one more hit here. Come on. Hey, there we go. That was Iblis Phase 1. We're going to be seeing this ugly mug again in this story, and I'm not looking forward to it there either, but thankfully for right now, we can be a little bit more positive as we can get into some bigger changes with Silver's gameplay in Legacy of Solaris. Lava dies in lava. Yeah, it's pretty similar to Perfect Chaos. Almost getting 3 minutes right on the nose there. Just shy of the S rank. I believe 30,000 points is the S rank for this boss? Yeah. Thankfully, unlike Sonic's story, you don't have to worry about rings at all. The amount of upgrades that Silver has and the price that they are for the rings, like, you don't have to worry about it one bit. And because of that, we are not going to be doing any optional town mission other than one, but it's for a different reason. It's not for rings in Silver's story here. So now we are back in the past. If you do want to do some of those optional town missions, maybe you're just a completionist or just find them fun for any reason. Before we go into Tropical Jungle here, in the forest, you can do Mission 1, Soliana's Apple Festival, and Mission 2, the Training Grounds, if you're interested in that. Before we head to Tropical Jungle here, I do want to check something, just to make sure, because I swear that if we go right over here, maybe? Yeah, there we go. So if you go a little bit out of your way, it's a little bit hard to navigate when you're in the forest. But if you see right here on the mini-map, that's where we spawned with Silver. If we go over here, we do have access to the shop immediately. As we hop on over to here, we just press X in front of this thing, And Silver has 2 upgrades we can purchase. The Single Layered Extreme, which what it does is allow the hold smash, which I can talk more about in the next stage. And before we buy the next upgrade, I want you to take a look at Silver's arm bracelets. See how they look. The next one we're going to buy is the Power Bracelet, which is going to enable the Grab All, which again, we will see in the next stage. As you can see here, a lot of people don't know, and granted, it is really hard to tell. Silver actually does have upgrade models. The Power Bracelet, which is what enables the Grab All, adds on to his arm bracelets there. So you can see like there's that little thing up top now compared to it just being a straight circle, which is pretty cool. Yeah, the Single Layered Extreme is a very weird item name. I really don't know what it's supposed to mean, but the Power Bracelet makes a lot more sense. So yeah, the upgrades, those 2 are not really necessary at all. But yeah, it's kind of fun to grab them, and I do like grabbing upgrades for all the characters in Sonic games. So one thing we could do is we could activate this rune, which is going to spawn some platforms to get us to Tropical Jungle. But what I find a lot more fun is that if you jump and hold X in the air, Silver will just skip on water. It looks super goofy and is kind of fun to do. I'm not entirely sure what causes that, but it's pretty fun. Moving on here into our next stage, Tropical Jungle. This is a very short stage. Even in Retail 06 here, or I guess in Legacy of Solaris, Silver is still just broken enough to where he can completely obliterate this stage, which kind of sucks because there actually is a lot of really cool level design in here where you have to like go on turtles, swing on vines, hit some runes to activate some swinging logs and all of that. There are a lot of mechanics in Tropical Jungle that are really cool for Silver, but because of his hover ability, we're able to just kind of bypass all of that and not really worry about it. Especially because we're in Legacy of Solaris with how quick his meter regenerates. Like, it's pretty darn easy to just bypass all of the stuff here. We're just going to do a little bit of feathering to extend our hover. And once more. And right here, let's talk a little bit about the hold smash and the grab all. So I'm going to go ahead and try to not take damage here, but these guys are firing a lot of missiles. So if I stun all these enemies and I double tap RT, this is the grab all. Silver's going to do this special animation here, and I'm going to take damage. Stun this guy and do it again. So double tap RT. Silver's going to do this special animation where he picks up everything that's around him, including enemies, boxes, projectiles, all that stuff. And the hold smash is if you hold the X button, and you don't have to do the grab all to do this. He just has this unique animation if you do. You can let go of the X button, and it's going to throw everything you have at once. There's probably like a second of charge time. So instead of just mashing the X button to chuck everything you have, you can throw it all at once by holding the X button and then releasing it, which is pretty cool. So those are the 2 upgrades we got from the shop there that we can get right before entering Tropical Jungle. But yeah, that kind of finishes that up. A pretty lackluster stage, all things considered. How about the anti-gravity? What's up, Affleck? How you doing? Welcome to the stream, dude. Enemies can only take 1 hit per frame. That's very true, but if you do want to get rid of all of the stuff that you just have on Silver without having to mash the X button, the hold smash can be pretty useful for that as well. Skipping on some cutscenes here. Here we are in Castletown. If you are a fan of side content in Sonic 06, you are going to love this rendition of Castletown. Before you go to Dusty Desert, you are available to do Town Mission 3, the Stolen Bronze Medals, Town Mission 4, the Airplane Tournament, sorry, not the Alpine Tournament, Mission 5, Protect the Coastline, Mission 6, the Soliana Water Target Tournament, and Mission 7, Catch the Soliana Boys. You have 5 extra town missions that you can do before progressing with the story. So if you're interested in doing that, I highly recommend checking it out. Additionally, if you do go to the shop in Castletown, if you did not have the chance in the forest to buy the Single Layered Extreme and the Power Bracelet, those 2 are available in the shop. But what we're going to do is just go right over here and do the required town mission, Protect the Gate to Castletown, which is a really good showcase of the grab all and the hold smash, which we'll be using a little bit here, especially with the buffed with the buff stun slap range or psycho smash range, it can help quite a bit with this mission here because a lot of enemies spawn. But yeah, here we are back in the forest. This is the entrance to Castletown from the forest, if anyone was curious. Oh my goodness. Can I please slap these guys and just get rid of them? Oh my goodness. One thing that is very annoying about 06 and is still present in Legacy of Solaris is that the enemy missiles can knock your rings farther away from you when you take damage, which is incredibly aggravating, to be honest. And since a lot of enemies, let's see if we do the hold smash here. There we go. Throwing all of our items at once, having a lot of carnage. Do it with these missiles too, just for fun. Hey, there we go. A little bit of a special psychokinesis animation, but like Aflac said, it's not entirely the best to use the hold smash that often. It's generally good for just getting rid of stuff that you don't want to be holding in your hands. In terms of actually defeating enemies though, because they can only take one point of damage per frame, if you hit them with multiple items, you're just wasting that ammunition, which kind of sucks. You do have a time limit on that mission, but it is quite generous, so we don't have to worry about it. And my neighbor is deciding to mow the lawn right now, so if you can hear that, I apologize. Anyway, that completes all of the town missions, well, at least talking about all of the town missions and then doing the one that's required here.
Looks like I'm on a roll.
We cannot hear it? That's good. Again, you just get so many rings that you do not have to worry about the upgrades at all. Come on, let's go. Okay, we are back, and Amy died immediately. So what we want to do, one thing I do recommend doing, every time you complete a town mission, make sure you open this and save. The people who are live with me know what I'm talking about there. But make sure you save after town missions in case the emulator does some shenanigans like that, because the game does not autosave and does not bring up a save prompt when you do town missions. So if something crashes, you'll have to do all of those town missions again. But moving on here, let's go into Silver's Dusty Desert. There were no new town missions available to us after completing the required one. It was all the same missions. All right, Silver's Dusty Desert, the most infamous stage in the game. And I can't say I'm looking particularly forward to it here in Legacy of Solaris, as the mod does fix a lot of stuff. Silver's Dusty Desert can be quite a problem because of the certain thing that we'll be seeing. Man needs a break. Oh wait, this is the best mod ever. Yeah, I already knew, but I didn't want to spoil it. As you can see, there were no billiard balls that we had to put into the holes at all. So let's see how Dusty Desert plays out without having to worry about that first room anyway. I would imagine they would still keep the ball puzzle though, right? Okay, a lot to talk about here, as this is Amy's only appearance in Silver's story. Amy has been massively overhauled. Sorry, that was a weird sentence. Amy has been massively overhauled in Legacy of Solaris, and I'm gonna actually go over to where we have a little bit more room to show stuff off. She has a brand new animation for her max run speed, which is very cool. Significantly sped up from Retail 06. She has a triple jump. So if you liked her double jump, which now, because of the patches, keeps your momentum a lot better in the air, rather than just halting everything, you can cross some insane distances with Amy in Legacy of Solaris because of the triple jump. It's kind of ridiculous. Additionally, if you press the X button, she's got her hammer attack, which is from Retail 06. And if you hold the X button, you do the spinning hammer attack, which is so nice. As far as I can tell, there's no limit to how long you can be in this animation and do this attack for, but man, does it help clear enemies so much. Additionally, if you are in the air and you hold the X button, you can do the spinning hammer attack. Now, if you're... Don't be like me in that the spinning hammer attack, once you use it, you are locked in your jump trajectory, and you can't double jump out of it, so you're not able to correct yourself if you go on a collision course with death like I did right there. I can't remember off the top of my head who created those new animations and new moves for Amy. I believe it was Fendiater, but I'll put a little thing up on the screen to correct myself if I'm incorrect about that. We will be seeing a lot more of Amy in the in her own story. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little skip here just to kind of get a move on with her section. Well, actually, it's not too much of a skip. Actually, I think we might still have to do her, or actually, no, we don't. I'm trying to think. The switch opens the door, but then we can go to the door and switch back to silver. So because of the triple jump, we can jump over this and then do a jump again and completely bypass her section of Dusty Desert, which is so great. Again, normally I would say that Amy is vastly improved compared to Retail 06. I mean, that wasn't hard to do, but they did a great job with it, making her a lot more of a fun character. But she does have her own story, and we will be playing her as in those stages as well. So if you want to see more of Amy, stay tuned because we will be playing her soon. Lokester, it was okay. Fen did create the moves with Amy. That's good to know. Okay, there's another enemy over here. But yeah, very good job on that. Kind of funny. I will mention this, like I talked about, I don't want to compare Legacy of Solaris and PO6 all that much because they do very different things with the source material, and there's very different visions for the projects. I don't necessarily think one is better than the other. I think both are great. So I recommend playing both. But it is very funny to me how both Project 06 and Legacy of Solaris, because Chaos hadn't finalized Amy's moveset for a while, and even if he had, like before they made Amy for Legacy of Solaris, he didn't share it with anybody what Amy's moveset was going to be like. So it's really interesting to me that both PO6 and Legacy of Solaris changed Amy into pretty much like they improved Amy in the same way, with hammer jumping, or not hammer jumping, but with you know, a better double jump, a triple jump in this case, and hammer attacks and the spinning hammer attack and all of that. Very cool. As you can see here, the ball puzzle is also removed, so we did get to just kind of go down this hallway here, which thank goodness. And hopefully not fall in the hole here as we try to destroy this enemy. Very good. I don't believe this guy is a leader, so we're gonna have to destroy both of these guys, which in turn is going to open up this door and complete Silver's Dusty Desert. A much, much, much nicer time than it is in Retail. That is for sure. Great improvements here. Very nice. Other than the spinning hammer, they seem pretty different. What do you mean? They both have the air hammer attack. They both have a better double jump. And they both have a spinning hammer attack. Also, what's up, Baguette Enthusiast? How's it going? Took me like 20 minutes in Retail. I don't blame you. It is the most infamous stage in the game for a reason. All right, finishing up with Dusty Desert, we are now going to a new hub world after we fight Sonic the Hedgehog, of course. I totally didn't forget about this boss fight. No way, Jose. Anyway, here we are with Sonic the Hedgehog, getting our comeuppance with Silver. Here as Sonic, we're just gonna grab all these tables and chairs and rapid fire on this guy. Unlike the Silver boss fight, when you're playing as Sonic, there is no real danger to just approaching him and attacking him when we want, but we do have these infinitely respawning chairs that we can just obliterate Sonic with, and let me tell you, the comeuppance is wonderful for that. Thankfully, he's not nearly as dangerous as Silver is in his story, but yeah, you can kind of just obliterate the blue guy. It's actually kind of sad. I don't know how many hits he takes, but it doesn't really matter because the chairs and tables infinitely respawn. You can just pick them up and absolutely destroy him, which is so fun. That's an instance where the hold smash is not useful, again, because the boss takes damage, can only take one hit every frame of the game. So you want to make sure to just press X to rapid fire versus throwing all of your furniture at once, I guess. But yeah, that was the Sonic boss fight. Silver stronger than Sonic confirmed? I don't know. All right, a couple more cutscenes, but once we are done with that, then we head to New City. When we are in New City, we have 2 new town missions available to us. That is Mission 9, protect the barrels in the warehouse district, and Mission 10, raid the evil monster. So if you want to do some more town missions, you can do those there. If we head over to the shop, we have a new item available to us, the shock bracelet. Of course, I recommend purchasing. What this does is it enables us to use, getting ahead of myself there. It enables, what it does is it enables us to use the Psycho Shock, which is a big area of effect stun move. It's probably one of the best abilities in the game, especially in Silver Story. Now, the next thing we are supposed to do is go to White Acropolis, but there's something special I can do, and you can only do this at this point in the story. If you wait until after you beat White Acropolis, you are locked out of doing this forever. Not this town mission, but what unlocks after this town mission. So this is the optional town mission we're doing. This is the protect the barrels in the warehouse district. Not too terribly hard of a mission, but with how the psychokinesis doesn't work 100% of the time, you can fail it pretty easily. The whole point is that you're supposed to protect these barrels from getting hit with missiles. But like I said, sometimes like a missile, like a stray missile can hit one of them, fail the mission, and then you have to do it again. But thankfully, it's not too terribly bad. I'm gonna go ahead and hopefully grab all of these missiles. Give me that one as well. And they kind of do a thing where they have that guy be cannon fodder for your first 4, but then you can just kind of defeat those 4 guys, and that completes the mission. So there you go. That was mission 9. So if you wanted to see some optional missions, there you go. Is this in retail? Yes, it is. Yeah, the shock bracelet is a must-have in retail. I would say it's even a must-have in Legacy of Solaris, because even though the stun slap is buffed quite a bit, the Psycho Shock has a area of effect radius in a circle around Silver, where the stun slap only affects enemies in front of him. All right. When you complete that mission, before you go to White Acropolis, if you come over here, we have a brand new NPC that is only here at this point in Silver Story. If you talk to him, Ku, Hatson the Pigeon, one of the best characters in the entire Sonic canon. All he does is he stands here and says Ku when you talk to him. But I would imagine in some sort of alternate reality or alternate universe, he really could be the hero of his story. But maybe that's just me imagining things. Regardless, I absolutely wanted to show off Hatson the Pigeon. But yeah, so that was that. Again, only at this point in the story. You have to do the Warehouse District town mission, and you have to have not done White Acropolis yet. What's up, Jolt Jar? How you doing? So we're just gonna run on over here. Hey, look, it looks like the same lady came over here with a new town mission. Very nice. But all we gotta do is just run on over here. This requires you to use the Psycho Shock, which requires you to buy the shock bracelet. You actually can, because this is Retail 06, you can clip through this laser gate and skip buying the shock bracelet, which in the speedrun is extremely useful because the shock bracelet actually removes a cool ability you can do with Silver in speedruns, like the jumping on water and stuff that I showed on the way to Tropical Jungle is impossible to do now with the shock bracelet because it requires you to hold X. But anyway, moving on into White Acropolis here. We start with Blaze, which is very fun, getting to play as her again. Yeah, there's not too much going on here. This is a pretty simple stage. We just do Blaze in section 1 here, and then in section 2, we're going to play as Silver. 06 has a plethora of unused missions. Yes, it does. In addition to that, I do want to talk about, with Legacy of Solaris, and I'm sure I'll mention it again at the end of the playthrough, not Silver Story, but like the playthrough as a whole. There are 60 extra town missions that you can do in the town trial with the other characters. I will not be covering those town missions because I do not like the town missions. And though it is really cool that it is restored, I will not be covering them because that's a lot. There's already so much in this mod to cover that I feel like the extra town missions wouldn't add too much to the coverage. If there is a particularly cool town mission, I guess, maybe I'll consider covering it. Like if you want to say in the YouTube comments, like if there was a cool town mission that Legacy of Solaris added that you want me to do, I may take a look at it, but for this playthrough, I'm covering the main big content. That being the amigo stories, the character stories, and all of the extra stages. Because I find that to be more than worth the price of admission to download Xenia, install Legacy of Solaris, and all that stuff. I guess another thing that I want to mention is that Legacy of Solaris is completely free. Like, obviously, you have to, you know, shell out the $5 if you are getting your 06 ROM through legitimate means, which I do not condone pirating games. That is illegal, so don't do that. But downloading Xenia, and once you have the ISO from your Xbox 360, is completely free. So you get all of this extra content, all of these fixes that turn 06 into a much better experience for the low price of $0, which is super awesome. But yeah, finishing up White Acropolis there, pretty easy stage with Silver, even though it is 2 sections long. We just do, you know, that Knuckles and Rouge section, or and Tails section as well, with him just doing some hovering over the laser gates and stuff, and then just gun it to the end. Pretty nice. Need a sub goal for Very Hard mode. I've already played Very Hard mode on stream before. I did it in Retail 06, and I don't really know if I want to do that again. But if the people want to see it, you know, let me know in the comments below how many people want to do it. If enough people do, maybe I will cover it, but we'll see. You know, I can always cover it in the future. It's not like once I'm done with Legacy of Solaris, I'm never able to cover the stuff I did in this initial visit again. All right, see you, MZ. Here we go, the Egg Genesis. This is our second and final time in the main 3 Hedgehog stories that we're going to fight this thing. With Silver, he's a little bit more complicated of a boss fight. He's going to always begin his phases by firing missiles at you. And what the auto-targeting does with the Psychokinesis is it tries to hit these searchlights. However, what I recommend doing instead of hitting the searchlight is getting really close to his core here and having it so that the Psychokinesis aims at the core. You'll do more damage and end the fight a lot quicker because the searchlights are kind of damage sponges. If you do this perfectly, you are able to avoid any other like phases and attacks that the Egg Genesis does. Unfortunately, it looks like we are going to get the enemy phase here. The enemy phase kind of stinks because the Psychokinesis automatically auto-targets like the other enemies, and they can run into each other just like that. So you can try hitting him with the enemies. There's nothing stopping you, or it doesn't really hurt to do that. But I recommend just waiting for the missile phase, and then once you have missiles in your Psychokinesis grasp, then you can go up to the Egg Genesis and just launch it at him. Because every time you get a quarter of his HP down, because each of these searchlights are supposed to do a quarter of his HP, he will go back up and fire more missiles. So, you know, the more missiles you're able to grab, the more damage you're able to do to him, which is really nice. All right, if you could lower down for me, thanks, my guy. Gonna fire these. Oh, we're one hit point short, unfortunately. Let's see if there's a box or something near here we can throw at him. If not, we'll just throw more missiles when he spawns them. Hey, there we go. So hitting the searchlight on the final hit isn't too big of an issue because it'll do the same amount of damage. But here we go, doing the kamikaze here as the Egg Genesis tries to self-destruct into us. But even Silver is fast enough to avoid this thing. So that completes the Egg Genesis. Pretty simple boss fight. I would definitely say Sonic's is a little bit more fun just because, one, you have 2 ways of hitting him, and it's in general just more interesting doing it with Sonic rather than just waiting for missiles, firing missiles, and then waiting for missiles again. But yeah, so pretty cool stuff. Hope you guys are enjoying the playthrough so far as we continue on in Silver's story and Legacy of Solaris here. Okie dokie. Next up, after skipping some cutscenes, we are going to head back into Castletown and not play as Silver, but actually play as Amy. This is another required town mission. I believe it's called, yeah, it's mission 12, which is defeat the pursuers and escort Elise. Thankfully, with the Legacy of Solaris buffed Amy, this mission is so much easier than it is in Retail. One thing I didn't mention with Amy when we were in Dusty Desert is that she no longer has her invisibility. Not that she needs it. As you can tell, she can utterly decimate enemies now compared to how she could in in Retail 06, like unmodded Retail 06. But yeah, that mission is significantly easier without having to worry about, you know, the trappings that regular 06 Amy has. Pretty cool stuff. Easy S rank as well. Makes sense considering that the S rank, I imagine, was designed more around Retail Amy than this new buffed Amy. All right, let's continue on. So after we finish up the where were we at? The Egg Genesis? No, Mission 12, sorry. After we finish that up, of course, we get all these cutscenes. And now we are in New City before going to Radical Train. Now, in order to get to Radical Train, they won't let you through. And what you need to do is run over to the shop. While we're running over to the shop, there is one new town mission available. Mission 13, Lost Company Property. I should say that while you're going through the story, something I should have said earlier, maybe I'll make a note earlier in the playthrough. But while you're going through the story, you are locked off from other hub worlds than the hub world that you're currently supposed to be in. So if you didn't do any of those extra town missions in Castletown, you won't have the ability to do them until you go to Castletown again. Similar with New City. As you jump between hub worlds, they encourage you to stay in that hub world, which makes sense considering how vast it is. They don't want you to get lost as you're going through the story. There will be a point where you will eventually be able to go between all three hubs, but we're not there yet. All right, looking in the shop, we have the new ability, Heart of Wind. This is required to purchase. And with that, we have a maxed out Silver. He only has 4 upgrades, yeah. Similarly though, to be fair, Sonic does have 4 upgrades. He just has all of the gems as well. And we're gonna see Shadow's gonna have a similar amount in his story as well. But regardless, what the Heart of Wind does is enables the teleport dash. If we double tap A quickly, we are able to do this really nice dash. If you are familiar with it in Retail 06, it is a puny dash that is basically not worth using at all, and more of a hindrance than it is actually useful. However, in Legacy of Solaris, one of the patches allows you to maneuver the teleport dash as you're in the air, and for a very small price of the meter, you're able to go quite a large distance. With this now, Silver is able to go out of a teleport dash into a hover, and you can just really cross some crazy distances. Now that we bought the Heart of Winds, this new town mission that is required, it's called Get Into the Station. You're supposed to avoid talking to or getting caught by those guards, but with the new teleport dash, yeah, it's a pretty simple mission. So nothing there, just a quick 6 seconds. Probably could have been faster if I didn't hesitate at the beginning. But yeah. Can you teleslide in Legacy of Solaris? You can. You are still able to do that. What Baguette Enthusiast is referring to is that at the end of a teleport dash, you have 1 frame to do a Psycho Smash. If you do it, you actually keep your teleport dash speed for the duration of that Psycho Smash, which most of the speedrunners, I believe they call it the extended teleport dash. I will attempt to do it, but I'm not very good at it. Again, it is very literally a 1 frame input. It's not even any BS, you know, trying to sound cool. It is actually 1 frame in order to get it. So, yeah. I will attempt it, not over any, like, bottomless pits or anything dangerous like that, because if you do mess it up, we could Psycho Shock ourselves right into the ground. But getting into Radical Train here, we've got another 1-section stage on our hands. Radical Train is kind of annoying. For the reason is these wooden gates. These wooden gates are incredibly annoying to break, and I recommend not defeating the enemies that are around the wooden gates, because they will provide you some missiles that will allow you to break the gates much easier, because trying to break them with the wooden boxes or the steel boxes that are around in the area is so annoying. Speaking of, we actually still have a missile we're holding on to. Showing the Psycho Shock in full effect here. There we go, just stuns in a radius around Silver. I believe that the Psyshock radius was buffed, or the Psycho Shock radius was buffed between Retail 06 and Legacy of Solaris, so very useful there for stunning enemies. It definitely improves Silver's gameplay flow quite a bit, as it's not as much stop and go. A cool thing here, I'm not 100% sure Legacy of Solaris may be playing with my mind here, but Silver is actually able to grind on these rails, which is not something, again, I'm like 99% sure, that those were not coded to be grindable in Silver's Radical Train in Retail 06. So, very nice. Let's see. Again, I recommend these smaller debris is a lot better for hitting these stuff, and things do respawn. The enemies don't respawn, but all of the like boxes and tools and stuff that you can pick up with Silver do respawn. But there we go. Thankfully didn't have too much trouble with that, but that completes Silver's Radical Train, a very quick stage. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can only grind in retail and multiplayer with Silver. I agree with you there. Another thing that I didn't mention that you can see on the results screen, if you look closely at Silver's left hand, his wrist bracelet now has some new attachments on the bottom as well. That's because of the shock bracelet, which is pretty cool. I personally am a big fan of like visible upgrades being on the characters, and I actually really like how in 06, like the upgrades are pretty minimal. Like Sonic's gems and stuff, and well, he does have the bounce bracelet. But Sonic's gems and stuff are a little bit more of a egregious example, for lack of a better word. But I like how minimalist Silver's upgrades are. Like, you can tell they're there, but you may not notice them if you're not looking closely enough. Shadow the Hedgehog. Pretty much just like Sonic. We pick up shit, we throw it at him. The same thing we've been doing with Silver for the entire playthrough. Shadow's a little bit more difficult to deal with because there isn't nearly as much stuff to throw at him. But, you know, similarly, we just want to stay away from him, pick up, and throw stuff. A cool thing that I'm going to see if I can get him to, like, charge at me. Yeah, there you go. He's charging a Chaos Spear. Oh, crap. He stunned me. Let's see if I can get it again here. Come on, Shadow. Oh, my goodness. Oh, here we go. When the character is stunned, so, like, while Sonic is charging up his homing attack or Shadow's charging his Chaos Spear, if you hit him and stars are flying around him, one thing that Legacy of Solaris adds is the ability to pick the character up and chuck him. It's pretty cool. You can do it in Retail 06 if you do a pause buffer beforehand, but it's like an actual mechanic in the boss fight now. You can do it in Sonic's boss fight as well. This is pretty cool. Here we go. After Shadow's down to half health, he will initiate his Chaos Boost. For us, it doesn't really change anything. I believe he has level 2 Chaos Boost, so his Lance will do damage. So instead of the Chaos Spear just stunning you, it'll actually do damage to you instead, which means you could get insta-killed by him, but as long as you stay a good distance away from Shadow, you don't have to worry about that. Pick him up and chuck him, which does do a little bit of damage, by the way. You can toss Sonic into the atmosphere, yes. Pretty good. All right, let's see. Should be just one more hit here. So let's just chuck some barrels at him. And there we go. Get out of here, Shadow. Silver dominated on top, but I'm sure we'll see some sort of the reverse situation happen later on in the playthrough. But for right now, we can consider him the victor. Do, 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 do. Do. As you can see, we have 26,000 rings, and there are no more things to purchase with rings. So we just kind of get to stock up here, which is nice, I guess. All right. I would be the worst 06 Let's Player, Legacy of Solaris Let's Player in the world if I didn't show this. Best cutscene in the game, bar none. Pow! Hit him so hard they went back into the pass. Anyway, ooh, Aquatic Base has some new flooring. Very nice. Again, that's just an artifact thing. You can press F4, or if you're using the build of Xenia I am using, you can use back on the controller, which will reset the textures. All right, moving on here, we get our first bit of gameplay as Shadow. Shadow is a little bit different, and I'll talk about that in the vein that I have a extra patch enabled in Legacy of Solaris. Normally, when you homing attack an enemy with Shadow, he does a move called the Chaos Attack, which is like a 5-button combination that is used to destroy enemies. I have a patch enabled that is not a default patch of Legacy of Solaris. This one's just in the mod loader that disables the chaos attack, which, yeah. I did that for a reason. I don't like the chaos attack, and a lot of times you will be attacking enemies long after they're dead because you have to complete all 5 hits of the chaos attack even if the enemy's already been defeated. So just having his homing attack work a lot more like Sonic's is much nicer. Oh, that's about my shit. Rock my shit. Hey, that's okay, Sonic fan. This is a mature stream. You can swear if you want. It is kind of funky, yeah. The retail 06 chaos attack, which the chaos attack is unchanged between Legacy of Solaris and, or between retail 06 and Legacy of Solaris. So I just get rid of it and disable it because it's much better, I guess. Is this base underwater? Yeah. To be fair, it's kind of hard to tell. You know, if we're looking from Silver's perspective, we do have the ballroom that's coming up later, an aquatic base here that has a window that he could see it's underwater, but it's a little high up. Whereas where he actually says the line, the windows are a little bit more visible that it's underwater. But, you know, whatever. Still a funny delivery of the line regardless of whether the context is good. Speaking of the ball segment, as you can see here, a little bit of a level design change between Legacy of Solaris and Retail 06 is, well, I timed that quite poorly, is now instead of the ball, we just have platforms. Which is interesting because Sonic's aquatic base had the ball, but, you know, oh yeah, I forgot. We actually have to defeat the enemies here. Thankfully, the purple guy is a leader, so we just pick up, put down him to defeat him, and we're all good. That rune defeated those enemies, opening the way for us. And we're just going to hover to this spring and continue on with aquatic base. Silver's aquatic base, I think, is a pretty fun stage. I love the music for aquatic base as well, so that definitely helps in it. But I think it's a very good pace. Like, a good pace of a stage. Like, we do get to do a little bit of 3D platforming. We do get to do some enemy encounters, which are a lot more fun now that we have the entirety of Silver's arsenal with the Psycho Shock and the buff teleport dash with Legacy of Solaris. It's pretty fun. But let's see here as we move on. An F in the chat for the balls. Yeah, it's too bad. I don't know. I think it more than makes up for it in aquatic base here. The magnetic balls are still here. One thing I do want to talk about, because it's an exclusive mechanic to Silver, that is if you use the psychokinesis to grab these balls, you can actually morph them into a very big ball, which is kind of fun to do, and chuck it at enemies and such. Is there an enemy back here? Oh, didn't kill him. It's my bad. Come on. All right, you're gonna get pimp slapped instead. That should be an easy Psycho Shock. The grab all does have a larger range than just Silver's regular psychokinesis. Again, that's the ability we get from the single layer extreme to enable the grab all. So if you want to use it, I recommend purchasing that upgrade. Which, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't purchase the upgrades other than the shock bracelet, because and that's only if you're a speedrunner. Oh, kind of entering the magnetic pole there. That was a bit funny. We're going to go ahead and skip some platforming here. Unfortunately, we don't have a drop shadow in certain instances when the screen turns red there. It's a lot harder to see it anyway. So that can be a little bit of a risky move, but still fun. So let's just do this. Amy's not even here. What do you mean?
Those enemies look like they're guarding that door. Let's start by getting rid of them.
Come on. Let's go. I can't believe it. We're actually going through Silver's story at quite a good pace here. I was expecting it to be a little bit longer. Got this fun little laser section that Sonic Unleashed was going to adopt in Eggman Land. We'll see a lot more times there if you play Sonic Unleashed, but anyway. Come on. Let's go, Silver. Do the Psycho Shock. It's interesting because most of the Hold X abilities in this game, like I talked about with Sonic's anti-gravity, and the same with Blaze's Spinning Claw, is you have to hold X, and then once you release X... Is there an enemy I'm missing? Oh, he's hiding over in the corridor here. Most of the hold X actions, like Sonic's anti-gravity and Blaze's spinning claw, the actual move activates when you hold X and then release it. However, the Psycho Shock, it actually is just holding X to do it. Kind of an interesting little inconsistency between moves there, but I guess I wouldn't worry too much about it. Do, 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 do. All right. Finishing up Aquatic Base here. We are reaching the end of Silver Story. I can't believe it. Is that 3D in my 3D Sonic game? It must be. Really? That's awesome. Okay, once we make it back to the present here after going into the past and sealing Iblis, we are back in Soliana Castletown. Now, if you want, there is another optional mission available, mission 15, which is Sonic Man Returns. Yes, Silver can race Sonic Man, and the poor guy is too slow to even outrun this guy, even in Retail 06. But the one they encourage you to do, and the one that's important for story progression, is this one here. Protect Anna, she knows the secret, or Anna. We're gonna have a little bit of fun with this mission. So what we're going to do is, instead of going to the right, we're gonna go to the left here. And this should work. Yep, looks like she's still running. Perfect. So normally what you're supposed to do in this town mission is defend this girl that you can see running across the bridge right now. You're supposed to protect this girl from a bunch of enemies that spawn and make sure she doesn't take hits and die. But no matter what, since the entire hub world is loaded at once, she will just walk to her destination she's supposed to be at to complete the mission. And if you just stand in this corner, you can run, do whatever if you're bored. Just don't move away from this invisible wall, and the enemies will never spawn. So, yeah. I don't really have much to say. We've kind of covered everything that I wanted to talk about as we've gone through Silver Story here, which is pretty nice. I already talked about the town missions, so nuts to say that. Thank you so much for protecting Anna. You got it, man. You got it. I did the best I could. Oh my goodness. Regardless, that finishes up our not penultimate town mission, but one of the final town missions for Silver Story here. All right, so we will spawn back in Castletown. Once you go through those doors, you are not able to come back to Castletown until you complete the story. So if there are any town missions, again, there are a lot of town missions here that you can do. If you want to do that, I recommend doing that. There is a shop, the same shop that I showed at the very beginning before we went into Tropical Jungle. That shop is still available. In the forest, if you didn't purchase the upgrades. There are no new upgrades for Silver, so we're just gonna hop into the forest here. Again, the gate's closed, and we need to head over to Kingdom Valley. And New City's been pretty blocked off for a while. Silver isn't in New City all that often in his story, actually. Let's see if I can do one of these ETDs. I highly doubt I'll get it. Again, it's a one-frame trick. But, no, didn't quite get it. As you can see here, Silver also has Trials of Soliana in order to get into Kingdom Valley. So, we're going to go ahead and do these 3 trials. The first one being the Test of Friendship. Blaze is locked in a cage, and you defeat enemies. That's it. Now, these bigger purple titans here, they do have a guard ability against your Psycho Shock. Sometimes. So you just got to see when their guard is down, and then you can defeat them. And that completes the Test of Friendship. Pretty easy stuff. Now, this is something I want to talk about that is more for Sonic's story than Silver Story. But again, as I mentioned earlier in the playthrough, missions... After town missions, the game does not autosave or even have a save prompt. The game just continues on. So after you complete one of these missions, I recommend opening up the menu and saving, just in case. All right, next mission here, the Trial of Memory. What you're supposed to do in this mission is you're supposed to talk to the guy, and he will ask you an either-or question, and whichever one you think it is, you go in that particular portal. The combination is always right, right, left. So just go right, right, and then left. And that's it. Breeze past Shadow Story, Volturius? No, Silver's like intended to be the second character you're supposed to play as, so we're playing as Silver second. Do. So that completes the test of memory. You don't gotta remember anything other than right, right, left. So there we go. 33,000 rings and nothing to spend it on. Would have been cool if we got to purchase like concept art or something in the shop, or I mean had more upgrades for the character. That would have been cool too. Finally, the test of heart. This is defeating more enemies. So the test of friendship and the test of heart are pretty much the same mission, just with different arenas, I guess. So hopefully it's not too important. I may have to check it after this mission is finished, though. Just in case, but who knows? It might just be her saying, I ate a sandwich or something. I love those texts, but while I'm streaming, it can be a bit of an annoyance. Love her, though. Love you, Haley. Hopefully I don't get smacked. She ever gonna join any of your streams? She's been in streams all the time. She comes in fairly often. She also, you know, deals with me 24 hours a day, so yeah. All right, so now that that's all done and over with, let's go ahead and come to Kingdom Valley. Once you enter Kingdom Valley, you are locked out of all the hub worlds. Now, you're already locked out of the Soliana, out of Castletown and New City at the current moment in the story. But if you want to do the optional town missions and you didn't get the chance to do them the first time we entered the forest, you can do you can do that. Did a sneaky cut. You know what? I'm gonna leave it in just for you, Beats. All right, Silver's Kingdom Valley, a two-section stage that isn't too difficult, but can be kind of annoying because of all the bottomless pits around here. Again, similar to Sonic's story, the different skyboxes are in full force here in Silver's Kingdom Valley as well. Section 1, 2, and 3 have a unique skybox, and then Sonic's Mach Speed section shares the same skybox as Section 2. I guess to be more accurate, as I talked about in the beginning, how sections in the game are labeled by letters since the three characters go through the stages in a different order. Section 2 that I'm referring to is this section here, which is Kingdom Valley Section D. If you're a fan of the PO6 randomizer, you might be a lot more familiar with the section names. Throwing up with both hands. I explained that. That's the grab all that you get from purchasing the single layered extreme. It has a larger grab radius than Silver's regular psychokinesis grab. Do. Yeah, W Haley for having to deal with me 24 hours a day. A lot of 3D levels are big bottomless pits. I wouldn't say a lot of them are big bottomless pits, but there are some that are more egregious than others. I guess that's my word of the day. I think that's the third time I've said that in this playthrough.
Let's clean up this trash.
It is kind of annoying. Some of Kingdom Valley is pretty dark, so it's hard to see the enemies sometimes, I should say. All right, just using Silver's hover ability here. We could teleport dash, but this works just as fine as well. Makes sense, though. You know, they're up in the ante with the things. You can't rely on just falling down to a lower path anymore. You got to deal with bottomless pits now. Which, I mean, for a character that can hover, or essentially fly, like, not too big of a deal. Oh, the buff teleport dash definitely helps quite a bit in Silver's story here. Do. Yeah, someone did a sneaky cut here. Yep, I did. All right, moving on here into the next section. We're going to be seeing a bit of Sonic gameplay, actually. After we defeat this enemy group here, we get to play as our blue boy. And the upgrades carry over. So if you got the gems and, you know, bounce bracelet and everything in Sonic's story, those will carry over. Similarly, when we play as Silver, you know, spoiler alert, I guess, we're going to play as Silver in Shadow's story. And he will have all of his upgrades there as well in his section. Which is kind of neat. I guess a little reward for completing a story before you go to the next one. I won't talk about Sonic too much here because, you know, he's the main character. He's got the most abilities and most stuff going on with him. But you can check out my part 1 of the Legacy of Solaris playthrough if you want more details on what Sonic can do. So we're just gonna use those patches that give us the spammable homing attack and keeping that homing attack momentum, which is very nice. There. Another enemy. My goodness. Maybe I could have used the green gem, but it's whatever. And that was Sonic. Back to Silver we go. It is his story. We played quite a bit of Sonic, and we're going to be playing quite a bit more of Sonic with his extra stages as well. I'm very excited to show off those. Those have very, very, very little coverage on YouTube, so it'll be neat to have a full playthrough with some fun commentary as well. All right, we got 0 rings, so I'm going to have to be careful here because these are homing missiles. Looks like there's more rings on this platform, though, so don't have to worry about it too much. Thank you. And that auto-targeted the flyer here. Dude, come on. Oh, no! I definitely apologize. It's kind of weird. I don't know if this is, like, something I want to do again in terms of, like, trying to do, like, a hybrid YouTube commentary, Let's Play style thing, kind of like what Chugga Conroy does and stuff, as well as do it live, because I do want to entertain and interact with the people that are here on stream. And the fact that, you know, there's no do-overs. I deal with what I deal with. You know, get the footage that I get. But it is still fun, don't get me wrong. But it is pretty stressful, especially with the main Hedgehog stories. The Selmo-verse, yeah. But that's Kingdom Valley. Annoying YouTube content creator woes aside, it's not what you guys want to hear. Let's talk about something more interesting. In fact, that we have our first and only stage-to-stage in Silver story. We have no hub world in between. We are just going straight to Flame Core after this, which is pretty nice. So you didn't get to do all of those awesome town missions if you forgot to do any of them. All right, egg carrier blows up, goes to the past, we go to the future. We're gonna stop old Ibby boy. Ibby boy? Iblis? That was a stupid joke. Anyway, Silver's Flame Core. So, Silver's Flame Core is the biggest difficulty spike in the game. This is a long stage with the guy. Legacy of Solaris makes things a lot easier than it is in Retail 06, but yeah, we're gonna be here for a minute. It is only 2 sections, but we got a lot of enemies to defeat and a lot of platforming to do. If you don't know how to abuse the hover well, it can take even longer. Oh, that dude was already stunned. I was confused as to why he was not getting stunned there. All right. First enemy encounter here. There's quite a few enemy waves. I believe this first one has 2 waves, but the next one has 3 waves. So we might be in these combat sections for a minute because we kind of have to deal with one enemy at a time here because they're spread out enough. So this is kind of like showing that, yeah, you're in the final stage. They don't group the enemies nicely to all be hit with the Psycho Shock like in maybe some of the town missions. This is it. This is the hard stuff. Iblis does not want you getting to him. Oh yeah, Flame Core's soundtrack is great. 100% agree. We're gonna go ahead and pull that up and then hit this rune, and you're actually on a timer here to get to this platform. But we can go up here, grab the invincibility, which will be kind of neat. Unfortunately, we can't hit the enemies. So we can use some of the invincibility here to, I believe, run on this lava. Yeah, run on this lava as if it were regular terrain. So do a couple teleport dashes. Ow. Okay, looks like the invincibility ran out earlier than I wanted it to. You know, now that I think about it more, I think the teleport dash in Legacy of Solaris has the same distance as a jump dash with Sonic. Not Shadow, because Shadow's jump dash is longer than Sonic's, which is unintentional, by the way. That's actually a... Excuse me, that's actually a glitch in the code, that Shadow's homing attack is longer than Sonic's, but I appreciate it anyway. Kind of a cool little distinction between both characters. All right, here's wave 2, and then I think we've got one more wave after this one. Thankfully, that wasn't too bad. Wave 3. Yeah, Iblis isn't pulling any punches now. Isn't short, it's just average. That's what they want you to think.
I guess that's done.
Let's move on through Flame Core here, getting that Soliana medal. Oh boy. The silver medals, so I guess I could talk about this. The silver medals are kind of the precursor to the red rings. In every stage in the game, in the main game anyway, I don't think that the Legacy of Solaris team added medals to the Amigo stages or the extra stages, but there are 5 medals, silver medals hidden around every single stage. You collect all 5, you get a gold medal. You get all the gold medals in the game, you get jack squat. Oh no! Oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Oh, okay, good. There's a kill plane. What happened there? So the meteors from the volcano.
My way, Iblis.
Justin P06? No, it's this is something from Retail 06. The meteors can hit you at any point. It doesn't matter when, even during automation, and knock you out of the air, which really sucks. Yeah, we call them Cocoa Puffs, so getting puffed. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Thankfully we hit that checkpoint, so we didn't have to redo too much of it, but that was pretty funny. Silver was so far away from the camera, I didn't even hear him get hit, so I didn't even notice until it was too late. We might have been able to recover it, but it doesn't really matter. Here we go into section 2 of Flame Core. Again, quite a long jaunt through it here. We do get some unique level design, though, because instead of going right in this room like Sonic and Shadow do, we go left with Silver here. So, kind of fun. Another silver medal. I guess they were like, we can't think of good places to hide it, so we're just gonna put them on the main path, I guess. It's very dark here. I might have to turn the brightness up in that room in post. God damn, you couldn't see anything. Do. Thankfully, it's less dark in this room than it was in the other one. I believe we can hover against this. Yeah, let's go. Oh, come on. Silly teleport dash. The meter, I didn't realize how beneficial it is that the action gauge for Silver in Legacy of Solaris refills so much faster. It's so nice. The enemy cores don't really even mean that much with how fast it regenerates.
Okay, let's move on.
Almost done here. Heading into the big room. Silver, for whatever reason, has like kind of this big finale in his story with Flame Core here. Sonic and Shadow don't really get any sort of equivalent to this. It's kind of interesting. Makes me wonder if there was going to be something like that. Let's dodge this wave. Even though the wave is really, the shock wave is really small, it can hit Silver anywhere in this room if you're not behind one of these rock platforms here. Kind of silly for Iblis to have put these rock platforms here. Or, I mean, I guess I would assume he's the one who did it. Uh-oh. Oh, damn. No, please don't die. Uh-oh. We're in a pickle. Oh, my goodness. What a save by the skin of our teeth there. All right. I'm going to wait here for the shockwave this time. Perfect. Voodoo. All right, we're going to turn this ball into a piece of styrofoam. There we go. And hopefully not fall. The lava, even though it looks dormant, the lava can still hurt you. So don't fall in. If I could, these things can move so I could actually see where I am. All right.
Now all I have to do is take him down. Great.
Okay, that completes all of Silver's stages. Torch is kind of freaking out there, so we'll go ahead and refresh the assets. And there we go. We've got one more boss fight, and then that's it. That's gonna complete Silver's story. That's pretty crazy. Did not expect it to go this fast, to be honest. I think we've been playing for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I don't know. This Knuckles story, I believe you did. We did Knuckles story before this one. Oh no, I've been found out. I record more than one playthrough in the same day. All right, here we go. Iblis 3. This is called Iblis 3, even though he's technically our second boss fight, or our second Iblis fight in Silver Story, because Shadow and Sonic fight Iblis Phase 2. His model looks a lot better in this boss fight, but it has all of the same trappings as the Iblis Phase 1 boss fight. He's really slow. There's only specific attacks that he can do, and when you get puffed here, hopefully, we actually might be able to get a lot of hits there. Now, you notice that Silver, in this boss fight specifically, can pick up and throw stuff a lot farther than he can in the normal game. That is because, and fun fact, I found this out from Labris, who's a retail 06 speedrunner, is that there's actually a different Silver loaded in this boss fight. Like, it's still Silver, but he's technically, in terms of code, a different character. This Silver is able to grab much larger objects and throw things significantly farther than the Silver we've been playing as in the entire thing, which is pretty cool. But here we go. We got the Shockwave phase, which is very similar to the Bio-Lizard in Sonic Adventure 2. You just jump and duck under the different things there. But the whole idea of this boss fight, I guess, is that Iblis is slowly approaching this platform that Blaze and Silver are standing on, and you have 3. On the third cycle of him approaching the platform, you die. The boss fight is over because the platform completely disappears. So you have 2 chances. He's going to destroy the platform for the first time here. He'll destroy the platform a second time, and then the last time he approaches, the boss fight is over. You've lost. But thankfully, when he approaches, you can stand on here, activate the rune, and that's going to do some extra damage. And while he's like shrinking back, I guess, or like getting stunned backwards, more Cocoa Puffs spawn, and you can throw them at him to get some free hits in, which is pretty nice. Thankfully, we got pretty lucky with the Cocoa Puffs here, and not too many destroyed each other. So I think this might be the final hit or close to the final hit. When you have him, I believe, below half health, he's going to try to destroy the platform from the distance. All you do is stand at the front of the platform, hold the Psychokinesis grab button. Silver's gonna grab this thing, and then we just chuck it back at Iblis, and it does a whole bunch of damage to him. Looks like we have a few more hits we need to do, so hopefully we're gonna get one more Cocoa Puff phase. I believe it's random. He only does the Naruto Shockwave phase when he's close enough to the platform. So it looks like we are gonna get a second phase here of him walking closer to the platform, because the closer he is to like, he's not gonna shoot the puffs from here. He's just gonna do a Shockwave attack again. Thankfully, he's close enough to where he's just gonna destroy the platform. So this is number 2. One thing I do want to mention about Iblis 3 is that you can see Iblis is a lot more like well-formed here than he was as Iblis Phase 1 or Iblis Phase 2 in Sonic's story. Hey, there we go. That was able to defeat him. And he dies. Rest in peace. I guess the idea is the more times Iblis comes back, the more like structured of a monster he becomes, or I guess the more perfected of a monster he becomes. Kind of a cool little bit of storytelling there. But Iblis, Silver and Blaze were supposed to have like fought Iblis like a lot of times, so I'm surprised he's more of a monster in the first boss fight than he is anywhere else. But that completes Silver's story. We did it. in record time too. I did not expect to complete Silver Story this fast. So the next time I see you guys for Legacy of Solaris, we will be heading through Blaze and Amy's stories, who are the two amigos that we play as in Silver Story here. One thing that I do want to mention, that just like Sonic's story, when you complete Silver Story, all of the pathways to the different hub worlds are available. So if there are town missions you didn't do or upgrades you didn't purchase during the story, you can go back in here and do them there. But that was it for Silver. So thank you all so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one for more Legacy of Solaris.